I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of Livingston Parish Council. This is our regular meeting, October 27th. It's 6:05 p.m. Could everyone please rise for the invocation? Mr. Delat.
No wonder y'all was waiting on me.
Hey, start without a prayer.
Yeah. Everyone bow your head. Let's pray. Eternal God, I pray that you bless us here tonight. Lord, make your face shine on us. I pray we feel your presence during this meeting because, Lord, you're with us everywhere as we go. I pray this meeting focuses on your plans for us as a body of believers that will look out for the best interests of the citizens of Livingston Parish. Lord Jesus Christ, we pray in your name, amen.
Amen.
Mac, lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't need this.
We're not using it.
Definitely. Don't need this.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Wascom?
Here.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Here.
Mr. Ard?
Here.
Mr. Harris? Mr. McMorris?
Here.
Mr. Delat?
Here.
Mr. Mack?
Here.
Mr. King? Mr. Talbot?
He talking.
All right, cell phones. Anyone has a cell phone, please turn it off or mute it so it doesn't interrupt the meeting. Public input, we come to an item on the agenda. If you have input, I've actually got a couple of people that signed up. If we speak about something that something comes to your mind, you come to the podium, we'll give you 2 minutes. All right, item 7, executive session. So at this point, I would need a motion to go into executive session.
You can read the executive.
Executive session is to discuss the terminating employee LPR number 22-30, deferred from the October 13th, 2022 regular meeting.
Motion.
I can second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Girlinghouse, second by Mr. Mack. Ms. Sandy called for the roll on this.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. McMorris?
Yes.
Mr. Delat?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes. All right.
I got a question, Brad. So since it's deferred from the meeting 2 weeks ago, can we discuss everything that was discussed in that meeting?
They gotta go.
Like, can you bring up the things that were discussed previously in executive session? Sure.
So do we need to go in the back or you wanna run them off?
No, it's easier for us to do that.
Come on, it's easier to run them off.
Did y'all ask her if she wanted to do it in private? It's her choice to do it in private or public.
it's your choice.
Okay.
Just want to make sure they asked it for the record, that's all.
All right.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
A motion to come out of
Yep, we
executive
need a motion to come back into regular session.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Girlinghouse, second by Mr. Mack.
You don't listen to
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, back into it. All right, make sure.
Somebody needs to state that
Read.
no action was taken.
Yep.
Yeah, no action was taken in the back, just a lot of talk. Let me find where I'm at. All right, so after executive session, so no action taken, we'll just move on.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we table this. Do we have to set a date if we table this agenda item?
I mean,
Should, if you don't.
It's better to.
If you table it.
I don't know what's the table.
We want to,
Defer it till the next meeting.
well, we're not deferring it to the next
No, we're
meeting.
not deferring, we're just gonna table.
Let's table it to the first meeting in January, whatever date that is.
What are we talking about?
So it's gonna be
This whole, we're just gonna table
So
this.
it's gonna be tabled.
What we just
it's
talked
gonna be
about.
gonna be deferred till January 14th.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I don't know, and that's necessary. We took no action on executive session. We should just move forward to the next agenda item.
I agree.
Yeah, Brad even said,
I'm nodding. I'm over here nodding. You see me?
Think that's the best way to do it? Just.
I can withdraw
okay.
my motion then.
Okay. All
Perfect.
right.
good to go.
All right, item 8 is, we don't have any presentations. All right, councilman comments? Any comments? Randy?
No, sir.
G-Boy?
Yeah, so I got a couple. I just want to bring up that down in St. John,
Mike's not plugged in or something. There you go.
down in St. John Parish, they had their meeting last week.
Push that microphone all the
Just
way
want
down.
everybody to know. Audio.
There you
There we
go.
go.
Test, 1, 2, test. All right, so down in St. John Parish, they had a meeting last week on the Morpall carbonation that they're trying to put up underneath the lake. Just want to let all you people out there, Livingston Parish, know they're supporting Livingston Parish. Everybody that was on that council down at St. John Parish is against them coming to Lake Morpall to destroy our lake. So if you guys get a chance, look on YouTube and follow that, please do so. These people down there stood behind the the parish president and all council members. I think that's what we should do as a parish, is all stand behind them. So I just want to give you an update for that. I noticed today that we got a email from Miss Liz that they received some permits to start doing their designations out in the lake. In November, they're going to do some demonstrations where they're going to invite people out to come see their dynamite take place. So I know myself and several more people is going to try to go. And I just don't want to see 5 pounds. I want to see all the way up to 20 pounds, because we all know they're going to have to go up to 20 pounds or better, right? So just want to bring that to everybody's attention. Last thing I got tonight, one of my good friends here in our parish has passed away. He was a guy that we worked at the ballpark with, Coon Taylor. So our prayers go out for Coon Taylor and his wife and his family. So keep them in your prayers, all right?
Yep. All right, Mr. Talbot?
I got my sticker today. Just want to remind everybody, early voting started Monday and goes through Saturday. Not this Saturday, Saturday week, and it's closed on Sunday. And there's 2 places to vote. You can vote at the Walker Denham Springs Library Branch at what's that, Eden Church in 190, or you can vote right over there at Mr. Taylor's building, the assessor's office, where the registrar of voters moved into. Yeah, one of those directions over there. But look, I got my sticker today, so that's all I just want to remind people.
Mr. King?
Yeah, I'd just like to remind everybody that the 52nd Annual Parish Fall Festival at Immaculate Conception Church, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's all set up and ready for everybody. Y'all be sure and go out and support our fundraising efforts at church.
Matt?
Yeah, they doing trunk or treat at Bethlehem Baptist Church at 6 p.m. on Monday night. If you live a little bit closer to that area and you can't make it down there to where Mr. Bubba does that trunk or treat at South Park, you're welcome to come by the Bethlehem Baptist Church here in Albany and for the trunk or treat that's happening Monday night. Mr. Bubba, everything's a go for South Park trunk or treat, right? 6 p.m. Does that start? What's the time it starts in South Park?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
We'll be out there waiting on y'all.
Not right now.
Fairlinghouse?
Yes, I would like to set something straight or just make a correction from the previous meeting. During the discussions about that we had briefly about Ms. White, I had made the comment that I had texted her asking her how she was, which, to get with me, and she did not respond. She did not respond because she had changed her phone number 2 or 3 days before, and I texted the wrong number. And I come to this realization after the meeting when I looked on my phone with another councilman. So effectively, I did not reach out to her, and it was my mistake. I sent a text to her old phone number. So I wanted to own that because, you know, I thought sending her the text and no response to me spoke volumes, but then now it speaks volumes back to me because I made the mistake of texting the wrong number. She had the same number for years, and she had changed her number because of what was going on, and I just went in my list in your text feed on your Apple phone like most people do, and I texted her back inquiring how she was, and it bounced. I guess it just it couldn't go to her because the phone had been turned off. So I just wanted to clear that up. You know, I made the mistake. I didn't send it to the right number, and I'm owning it. That's it.
All right, Trunk or Treat, South Park, needs candy. So anybody that can donate candy for them to hand out to the kids, I think Quick and Handy Dry Cleaners taking candy.
Any of the 3
so
locations, y'all can drop it off.
drop it off at any of their locations. We'll make sure.
Saturday 8 to 1 at all of them if y'all need to go on Saturday.
Yep, we'll get them in the right locations for everybody, so we can hand them out to the kids. All right. All right, item 10, adopt the minutes of the October 13th regular meeting.
So made.
Motion by Mr. Delat, second by Mr. McMorris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Parish President's report. We have I don't think he has anything to report.
I'm going to defer it.
All right. 12, administrative update of request fact-finding report of accumulation of the facts and data available to parish government through the parish's road capital outlay program, engineering, bonding attorney, and parish president's administrative staff. Mr. Delat.
Okay, I would like to ask Mr. Girlhouse, you're still the chairman of the ordinance committee, right?
I am.
Okay. I would like to ask if I can bring that to your committee and try doing it by ordinance. I can't get the information as any other way. It's been 3 months now that we've requested this information. I don't see any explanation. It's just silence is all I get. So I would like to maybe request this in an ordinance form. It's a law then. And we'll see if I can get, I have people that wants this information and needs this information, along with myself. I can't make a great decision if I don't know if I'm getting the best value for my dollar. And the stuff that we're asking for is readily available. They're using it. They got it. They just choose not to hand it to us. And for whatever reason, that's not good government. And I hope we hears that part. In case you didn't hear it, Mr. David, that's not good government when council is asking for information about roads and can't get it.
So you want to put this on the
I want to put it as
Tuesday?
ordinance. Yeah, we've tried 3 times now as doing it.
Wednesday? Yeah, it's going to be Wednesday before the meeting, Wednesday. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
The agenda went out today on that because, huh? Oh, it hadn't yet? Okay.
I seen it. I thought I seen it.
Ordinance
Seen the agenda. Maybe it
Ordinance
wasn't.
agenda hasn't went out?
Okay. All right then.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. All right, so I'd like to pass on it, Mr. Chairman, until we can get an ordinance.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I figure out how the agenda's going out now. It's Thursday. We're not working tomorrow. They're not working Saturday, Sunday. Are y'all closed Monday and Tuesday also? So if it didn't go out at 5 o'clock today, we can't have orders committee.
Get it out tonight.
Yeah, they can get it out tonight.
We'll get it out tonight.
Okay.
All right. You done? You good, Ms. Randy?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any comments on that?
No.
We can't let you do that. Yeah, come on up here.
Mr. Randy, I apologize. Are you asking for information from finance?
We are asking information for the questions 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That administration has had 10 questions, And they had, Macklin answered 3 of them, I think, and 3 got answered by the bonding agent, but the last 5 is gonna have to be answered by y'all. And I can ask you those questions out loud if you think you got all those answers.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm starting for
What-
number.
I apologize, this is the first time I'm seeing this.
Well, for 3 months, we've been turning it back in.
So Randy, which one, Macklin answered which ones? 1,
Okay, let's start from 10. We can do them all. We don't, if y'all want to cover it, we do it all.
Sure.
Number 10, you got the list? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Yes, sir, I have the list.
Okay, which ones can you answer?
I can tell you anything with finance.
Okay, which ones can you answer?
So how many road miles are in each district? I want to say,
I had that answer.
I've seen that recently. There was
That's
an
fine.
email, I didn't know what it was for, but,
The
yeah.
last 5, okay?
Okay, so number 6,
Number 6, give me that one.
what is this year's bonding estimates?
You don't- It sounds like you don't have the answers,
Jennifer,
Jennifer.
I'm a little confused because this
Okay.
is the first time I've seen this.
so how much money did we spend on?
I'm sorry, give me just 2
Okay, I'm
seconds.
sorry.
So if you're asking for finance numbers, and this is the first time that I've seen this, how did you send the information, how did you send the request over?
To the parish president, Mary.
Okay, I apologize. This is truly the first time I've seen this. So y'all all have my cell phone number, correct? Please call me if you want finance information. And I understand, I should have seen it because you sent it over in the correct method, but if you weren't getting an answer, you can call or text or walk over. I will readily
So I
give
do
finance
have,
information.
so I do have your phone number. I have it now. I'm fixing to dial it. Is that going to help me get these answers?
Well, it's the first time I've seen it, Mr.
Okay.
Glad,
So you want me to dial your number when?
you could have called and said, hey, I asked you for this information and
No,
I didn't
ask
get
you
it.
for it. I asked the past president for it 3 months ago, okay?
Well, I get that.
And it's been done as a resolution. So tell me what you want me to do, because you seem to be, tell me what you want me to do. I got your phone number. What you need me to do?
I will go back to the office right now and look all of this up for you.
I'll probably be here till 9 o'clock.
Thank you. It was certainly not finance's intention to not release financial information. I mean, I hope you know that.
What I know is that we requested information so we can make great decisions for our parish, and we can't get that information. That's what I know. And so what we're gonna do now is do it by ordinance where it's a law, and it'll be a little bit harder to keep the information away, okay?
I mean, this is the information, you just want the answers to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I want to call 10 of them so we can we put it together. If you
And
give
you
one.
can get that
Some have
tonight?
been answered, though,
Yeah.
you said,
1
correct?
through 5 have been answered, but Jennifer, so like 6, using this year's bonding estimate, so you.
What bond
Okay, so
estimates?
here's the deal, so if you took the dollars we spent on roads this year, how much we spend, 6, 7, 8 million, what do we budget?
We estimated 13 million this year, but it's in
Okay.
progress. We haven't spent that
Okay, I
yet.
understand, so let's say we take 13 million, give Jim Ryan that number, so we can play 13 million a year toward a bond. How many dollars that give us? And once we generate that number, then Macklin could look at the cost to do a road based on those dollars. We could figure out how many miles we could do. You follow what I'm talking? We're gonna
Yes,
back,
sir.
we're gonna back.
So that answer's coming from
It needs to come.
Jim and Macklin?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to give the number. You gotta call Jim and say, with a $13 million payment over a 20-year bond, how many dollars that generate? Then you could take those dollars to Backlund and say, okay, with these many dollars, how many miles of roads can I do? And he can give you an estimated number of miles. 7, how many miles of roads are substandard or will be in 8 years? Sam will have to, I mean, either Macklin or Sam will have to estimate. I don't know that there's a way to estimate that, but you'd have to just say, I've got, 100 miles of substandard road now, and in 8 years, I'm gonna have 50 more miles or 75. They'll have to make an educated guess on that.
Yeah, I don't know who defines substandard.
Okay,
The DOT
regardless of
has-
sales tax projections, what's the cost to do all the roads at the end of 15 years? So basically, Randy, you wanna do every road in the parish in 15 years?
Well,
or every road on the list in 15 years?
we don't know what we can do until we see the figures, and that's all we want asking. The figures that we are asking for are the same figures you have to use when you go and send a contract out. When you bid those roads, you gotta know how much money you have and whether you can accept that contract or not. You gotta know which road you're gonna do in that contract. All the numbers that are information that we trying to get here or request here is information y'all have on hand. We want the information because we think we could accelerate the road program and get more roads done for less money. And to me, that's a great, great win situation for the people of the parish. But we can't know that because we don't have the figures. They mysteriously somewhere else.
Why don't we give them 2 more weeks?
Number
Just
9
2
says,
weeks.
what is the
I
cost?
said that.
We'll give you 2 more
I said
weeks.
2 more weeks.
I don't know that 2 weeks is gonna make a difference. Number 9 says, what is the
Once-
cost to do current emergency substandard roads by bonding for 8 years? Which roads are emergency substandard roads?
I think.
I mean, you're asking for answers
Jennifer,
with
Jennifer,
no
I think,
variables.
I think this is what he's trying to ultimately accomplish. He wants to look at, he wants to get the figures so he can say, we can save money because the projected cost at what it takes to overlay a road now, as opposed to what it'll cost in 8 years, is that less than the difference in interest you pay on the bond. Am I right? Yeah.
That'd be part of it, yeah.
That's part of it.
Under the current economic situation that we're existing, we're seeing inflation at a small rate. Now, we're not seeing it in the Carter years where money was doubling every 7 years, but we are seeing an inflation rate. So during a period of inflation, if you bond something today and then pay for it based on the dollars that you spent today, as inflation goes up, theoretically, tax revenue will go up correspondingly with inflation. And so you'll be paying dollars that hadn't been inflated yet, so it costs you less. However, during a period of economic growth without inflation, it actually costs you more to do a road. So ultimately, you know, if you look at a portfolio of a you know, somebody's portfolio, depending on whether it's a growth portfolio or a stable, you know, blue chips, stocks, or whatever, depending on the type of portfolio, there is a mixture. There is a hedge against inflation on certain portfolios. There's a hedge against, you know, interest rate rise and along other things. So consequently, in the past, back in the day, they took all our tax revenue and bonded it. And when we came in as a council, most of the tax revenue was paying a note on roads that some of which were worn out. And Jennifer used the correlation. You don't go buy your groceries with your American Express card or your credit card and pay on, you don't pay for something that's disposable over a long-term period. There is a little bit difference between an asphalt road and the box of, you know, frosted mini wheats, because the frosted mini wheats going pretty darn quick at my house, but the road's going to last a little bit longer. But ultimately, if you hedge some of that stuff and have some portion of the money bonded and you have a high inflation rate, then you've actually saved some dollars. You know what I'm saying? So I think the question, to make an educated evaluation of that, Randy just wants to figure out, start off with, what's the cost of maintaining substandard roads versus repairing some substandard roads with current dollars? And then what is the long-term effect of those dollars? And then he wants to look at what the whole cost of all the roads are, you know, to see if we overload every road based on a pay-as-you-go plan, what's the possibility of overlaying all those roads in a 15-year period or whatever? And so I think he's just looking to gather that information so that he can make a case for the need to possibly, there are some roads with such bad shape that cost us so much to maintain instead of overlaying, that it makes sense to bond some money as a hedge against inflation and still reduce the cost of interest will be less than the
I got
cost
you.
of maintenance. And I think that's just all, I mean, I think that's what he's trying to make the
Well,
case.
my point is just, most of these questions can't be answered by finance. It's gonna be the engineer
I
that
never sent them to
evaluates the
finance.
Yeah,
roads, and
We never sent it to
Yeah,
finance.
Jennifer, I think
We-
it's, I think the problem is that some of these questions, the way they're worded, are gonna take somebody saying, I need a little information from the engineer, and I need a little bit of information from finance, and I need a little bit of information from Mr. Ryan, and I need to, you know, put it together and say, this is the long-term impact of what you're looking at.
Guys-
Those questions that didn't get answered, no one person could answer, I think is the problem.
There's 3 roads in District 8, 4 where we're supposed to be getting started soon, and I hadn't seen that started. That has been turned into gravel roads since I've been elected in 3 years. So how are you gonna tell people, pay the 1-cent sales tax? And by the way, when they bonded the money, they didn't bond all the money. They only bonded the 1-cent sales tax that was for road overlay. That's what they bonded, that only. The 1-cent sales tax that's for road overlay is not only going on roads now, but going on different things, which our auditor said that could be done or whatever. But the bottom line is, for the people that's living on blacktop roads that are not gravel roads or pothole roads, they paying that money while we can't fix their road. It's as simple as that. Thank you. I'll wait till it'll be on the agenda every week until we get the information.
Good, so we still gonna put it on the
I'm gonna.
ordinance, or you wanna keep it as a standing item?
Originally, it sound like Jennifer can handle it, but I don't think she can, so we're gonna do it as an ordinance, it's gonna be a law, so then we get it from there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. All right, so, item 13 is a public hearing, so we are now entering a public hearing. This will be an adoption of LP ordinance number 22-48, adoption of Council District 8 zoning map. Mr. Randy Delat.
Yes, we have our maps, it's been, like you said, we had a couple of hearings on it, it's also been on the computer, it's right here in the back. Just shortly, I had someone ask me to make a change on the map. Is that something we can do here, or is that?
So the way we all had planned is to kind of leave it a working document for 1 year. So
just
we
keep
can
doing-
easily move around
Okay.
for a year. So
Okay.
after that year is when it really gets strict.
Okay.
Yeah, I suggest that, if you want my advice, just get it zoned, and then you can change it next
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or, you know, the next
Yeah.
meeting.
Next meeting. So guys, do y'all want to make those changes tonight, or wait till just get adopted?
Oh, yep, hold on. Miss Sandy needs to read by title real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
This is proposed ordinance 22-48, an ordinance to certify the official zoning map of the unincorporated areas of District 8 in the parish of Livingston, entitled Livingston Parish Zoning Map, Council District Number 8, referred to in Chapter 117 of the Livingston Parish Code of Ordinances.
Is it a public hearing now or not?
Yeah, we're in the public hearing, so if anybody's got anything to say, I do have Bradley Wheat, if you want to.
Bradley Wheat, 17295 Jack Allen Road. The maps look great. There is an area of concern, though. There was a R1.5 area to be conducive with the rest of the property, I guess, in the area. Can we have that changed or modified to an
Or one that
R1?
want to put into unclassified, and it was unclassified at one time. Eddie did have it there, and I had asked Eddie to change it to R1.5, where I didn't know that it was a problem for some of those guys, and they feel like it is, and they would like to see it changed to unclassified back like it was.
No.
So if we can do that tonight, I'll do that. If not, then we just do it later.
Unclassified, we changed that. What can you do in unclassified? What, did we have, we took a bunch of stuff out.
It's unwritten.
So
There's
you can't
nothing.
do anything. You gotta zone it something before you can do anything with it.
Where
Yeah, I
Eddie
mean-
told me that it's family partitions, what he told me.
It's blank. The classification in the ordinance is pretty much blank.
Okay, so basically you gotta classify it as something before you can develop it? or do something with it?
It's almost as if it's not zoned.
I guess,
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean,
I mean, to me, it would be just like it is now.
You can do anything you want.
You can do whatever you want with it.
I don't think that's the way the ordinance was written. Originally, unclassified allowed for a certain group of things that could be accomplished with it.
That's true.
And I think the way we took all those things out because they were broad. I mean, you could put a convenience store or a daycare, there was tons of things you could put in it without having to do it. And I think, as I understood the way the wording was, basically you can't do anything with it until you zone it. Before, there was a ton of exceptions that could be done in unclassified property. But when we took all those exceptions out, unclassified property's got to be zoned before it can be developed.
Okay,
That's the
so
way I believe the ordinance is.
I want to make a statement on that.
Hold on.
Oh, you want to wait until we get to?
You have anything else, or you want to listen to these answers first?
I'd like to listen to
Okay,
the
I'm just
answers.
making sure. All right, Mr. Mack?
Okay, so it's to my understanding, when we adopted the classification ordinance, we did strip out all the, I guess you could say, classifications and land uses that was found under unclassified. Being that unclassified has no restrictions, so it says, to me, the way I interpret that is it's not zoned at all. Now, I mentioned to a couple of councilmen, over the next 2 to 3 months, we're going to be working on tweaking, making a few modifications to the classification within that ordinance, because it needs to happen. And we can go back and take another look at the unclassified and make sure that the land uses within that classification are what the, people in council would like for it to be. But to me, if it's adopted, and this is just an introduction, or is this an adoption? It's an adoption. If it's adopted as unclassified, then basically it's going to be unzoned until you modify.
Hold. Mr. King, did you have something?
Yeah, so the piece of property in question, do you own that property?
I do not own the property. It's a large chunk of, I guess, District 8, and the maps are here.
Yeah.
You can look. What is zoned, R1.5.
Okay.
Just asking for it to maybe be
Green
zoned
looking?
an R1 instead of R1.5.
Hey.
Just to be, a little more conducive with the typical lots,
the
let's say
area.
lots in the area are 1 acre upwards
bigger.
of 10. So,
Yeah, that's all I had right there,
Okay,
yeah.
good. All right, Mr. Garland House?
So, I think this is really simple. If it's Mr. Gillette's, right now, currently, it's your district. However you want to zone it, nobody's going to fight you on that. It's your district.
Yeah.
Do you care what it's zoned? I mean, it's in the sense,
I want to do what those residents need. We can leave it, if I can convince these guys, leave it like it is until we get what the definition is of unclassified, because Eddie had told me he thought it was family partition. That's what he told me.
and I guess that's kind of more what we're kind of leaning toward is where does the family petition stuff kind of come in? Is it in the unclassified? Is that something that needs to be, have ordinances in black and
It
white?
can be,
someone
but it's
wants-
blank right now.
Right,
Yeah.
so yeah, you can go build.
I don't think you're gonna have a problem changing it with us.
you won't have a problem changing with us. I recommend that you adopt the map as it exists and then make the
And
change
you
after
just
the fact.
change
Every second that map isn't zoned, you leave yourself open for,
Potential development.
Right, but you can amend what's on
you can
the
absolutely
adoption
amend it,
tonight
absolutely.
from R1A or R1.5
Yeah, you
to
could make it
R1.
rural, you can make it anything, he can make it anything he wants it.
And I was just saying that the property
Yeah.
around it, a lot of it's agriculture. You have some that's R1.
Yeah, a zoning map is intended to be changed, and like I admitted, even on mine's strict. I know it needs to change. I know I need to adjust it, but I can always adjust it. It's easier to adjust it one way than it is to loosen the restrictions as you see fit than it is to go the other direction, even though you can do the other direction too if you want to. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, I would adopt it as is, and then you figure out what's the best way to reclassify it, and then reclassify it. You know, if you want to make it rural, if you want to make it agricultural, if you want to make it commercial, you know, whatever he gets, you know, with the constituency and how they want to do it. Go ahead.
Mr. Talbot?
Mr. Brad, can I ask you a question? If a development's been approved for a piece of property, been technically been to the count, you've been to plannings, technically approved, it's going through the design process. It doesn't matter how it's zoned, it's already approved, it can already move forward, am I correct?
If they've already been approved and they're spending money and starting work,
We're talking about design. I mean, the process now requires that you get preliminary approval, then you do the drainage impact study and all the others, and a set of construction plans cannot be submitted until, the way the ordinance is written, construction plans cannot be submitted until the drainage impact study is done. Once they've started their work, then based on how that property, I mean, it doesn't matter how that property is zoned, because the council's already approved moving forward, whether it be a truck stop or a school or a subdivision with 285 lots in it. It's kind of irrelevant what the zoning is once that project's already been approved and moving forward. Am I correct?
that goes back to the language from the Palermo case that we've cited just about every time we talk about major developments and the permitting process and the approval process. While landowners are subject to the regulation and police power of the parish government, once they have acquired a vested property right and started spending money and began work and are permitted, then they're in.
And then I've got another question we need to talk about. So, you know, we talked about, you know, people coming and saying, I want my land to be zoned differently. Are we gonna let people come and say, I want my neighbor's land to be zoned differently? Or are we only gonna let the people that own title to the property come and say, I wanna change the zoning of my land?
That's the way it's gotta be.
Well, that was the way we intended, was once it was adopted, the landowner could come and,
But
to your
nobody
councilman
Yeah.
and say, hey, I want to look at how my land is zoned. I mean, honestly, that was the intent.
Well, I mean, is there construction on this site?
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know where the site's at. I'm just trying to make sure that we all have a clear understanding that whatever we do, there are certain things that will be grandfathered in that can't be affected by a zoning map that we adopt tonight or, you know, in the next year if it's already been approved.
Well, under those guys, yeah, I agree.
Wait, Randy.
And I understand all those things, guys, and appreciate y'all helping me. One thing I don't quite understand is when we do have things that have to be rezoned, is that gonna be done on this council, or is that gonna be done in-house?
Are you talking about for the
Change
next,
zoning on a
Yeah.
piece of property?
Yeah.
for the next year and 1 month? We're going to do it here.
1 year and 1 month?
Yeah,
Okay.
after that, you know, I guess after, when the new council comes in or whatever, if something rezoned, it would have to, I'm sure it would go past through planning zoning, but it would ultimately come to the council for vote.
I think we're
I wanna say something
gonna
there.
try to bypass planning and zoning on the initial
Yeah,
first
for the
year
initial,
deal to
right
make
now.
the
Yeah,
thing.
because there's probably gonna be a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a
know?
lot, and so it would be way easier to handle it at this level.
So this gentleman here wants these changes, okay? So 2 weeks from now, another gentleman comes by and he wants changes. We just have to deal with it right here.
Are we gonna make sure they own the property before we do that?
I just want to say something about that real quick. Just want to say something real quick about that, Joe.
Go ahead, Mr. Mack.
And that's another thing we're going to be talking about soon. I wanted to put it on the ordinance committee agenda. There's an ordinance that was adopted on how to reclassify. And if you want to reclassify, you got to notify the surrounding neighbors and things of that nature. And we had kind of verbally communicated that we was going to make it a much simpler process for that year that we just talked about. But I'm thinking that it would be a great idea to get that in writing on exactly how we're going to do that,
Good idea, yeah.
because it's just too important when this becomes a disputed incident, whether you should change the classification or not, to have that in writing. It's just my thought, you know. So we talked to another councilman earlier this week. We're gonna be looking at that ordinance soon, and that might be, if you all agree, a place to kind of modify that. I don't know. I just think that it would be good to get something in writing on how we're gonna reclassify for that time frame that we spoke about, because the way I interpret the current existing adopted ordinance is that's not the process. And that's an important process to get right. So, we're gonna be looking at that. And I'm not against, moving forward with this adoption. I'm just saying that, I started working on this 3 or 4 months ago. And some of these questions, same questions you're asking, came up in some of the meetings that I was having with the people that live in my area. And I'm committed to going and working on that and kind of getting everything ironed out before I adopt the map. And one more thing I want to say, and like, there's different points of views. It may be good to go ahead and get this in. I'm not arguing that against that. I'm just saying that the map itself is in a PDF format, and a lot of land, especially the areas where you have large mass bulk of a certain classification, it's real easy to determine how your property is classified. But say, for instance, you're on the line, and whether you're classified 1.5, unclassified, or you're agricultural here, and you're on the line and you're struggling to figure out your 1 acre, how it's zoned, it's almost impossible with this map. The maps are being enhanced significantly. You ever go to the assessor's website where they have the GIS map, and you can punch in your parcel number and overlay, and you can punch in exactly, who owns the property, the address, and all that kind of stuff? That's what's about to happen here in the next 30 days, so that you can be clear exactly how your property is classified. And I'm hoping to persuade enough councilmen, because I've already committed to the people in my area that I'm not comfortable adopting my map until that new map is up, until every single individual in my area knows exactly the classification of their property. And another thing I wanted to do, and we talked about it, is there's some tweaking that needs to happen within that ordinance that lists the classifications and the uses within those classifications. I think it's important for you all to show up when the ordinance committee starts to get into that, because it's just real important. One thing we don't want to do is, in my opinion, I'm just speaking for myself, is take your property rights away. This is not about that in any way, shape, or form, and I think that your input's going to be heavily valued when we start to talk about those tweaks that are about to happen. So I just wanted to say a few things about that, and so that's kind of where I'm at.
All right. Mr. Rainey, you want to?
No, I'm through. I'm through. I'm just going.
Good point, Shane. I'm actually on the line. The property that I'm on.
It's hard.
See.
Future property, inheritance-wise, is in an R2 or 1.5, and I was looking to get that to an R1. That's why I was saying this whole area of the 1.5, just to be a little more conducive to the area of larger lots, makes it more appealing to some not, which Mr. Talbot wouldn't have run off. Brad, I had a question for you.
Sure.
Gary was saying, that a subdivision, and it's just theoretical, that if a subdivision was approved, that they fall under old, I guess, the ordinances or whatever. If a subdivision has been approved but it's under a lawsuit, how does that work? Is it truly approved, or is it under lingo?
No, if it's been approved and then there's a lawsuit pending, until that
Approved by
lawsuit.
vote or approved, or just,
Oh, so you're telling me if a neighborhood was approved and then somebody filed
not
suit
by
over it?
vote, just by default?
Okay. Nonetheless,
So
got
approved.
approval.
Okay.
And then a lawsuit was filed, whatever this, if it were already approved, until a judgment comes out
It'll be
that
dependent on the
overturns
judgment.
that,
Okay.
that would change it. But if that never happens, then the approval will stay in place. I would like to say, I was gonna save it for later, but we're talking about letting people come in and talk to you guys about, hey, I think my property should be this, my property should be that. I think that is good, and I encourage you, to do that, but you need to be careful about spot zoning. That's something that you really want to try to avoid. You want to make sure it's consistent with the areas around it, and that you're not just doing something that's going to help this person out and get them what they want their property to be, but to the detriment of the neighbors around them when it really doesn't belong in that area. Just something to be considerate about and think of.
It's just some, just some protection, we're trying to get for, future area, right? So if I'm zoned a R1 and my neighbor can zone a R2, that's a big difference. I could have zoned mine R2 and sold it, made more money. Just trying to protect from that.
So Brad, the
Yes, sir.
property you talking about, is it here?
That R1.5 area, yes.
Here?
Yes, the olive green looking color.
Okay, so I don't understand how we can adopt this tonight. That's just my personal opinion. Whenever the lines, it's not even correct on the drawings here. All right?
They're showing that in Gerald's
Well,
district.
they're showing it in District 6, but they ain't in District 6. That's District 8. District 8 actually comes all the way across here to 63, and it comes down 63.
Yeah, I ran into those same problems.
So it just, I don't understand.
That's new
how we
district
can-
zoning line
Yeah.
on an old district map.
What do you think
Right.
about that?
I'm hoping that the new maps that come out on the assessor's office
Is that the current
are
district
accurate.
map
That's what
right
we
now?
did.
Well, that's what we still are.
That's what we still
We are
want.
not the new zone, we're not the new district
I'm not
yet.
telling you that. I'm telling you right now, District 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is
District 8,
District 8
Guys, you
now?
are about to see our
Oh,
Sorry about that.
superhero.
all right.
So what I'm telling you right now, the area he's talking about falls in Randy DeLatte's area. All right, these lines need to move all the way up to here and come all the way to Coyell Creek, which is, about being where I live, right on the district line.
Which is right, how it is right now.
Right now, they gotta draw it as District 6.
Yeah.
Not 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. The District 8 right now, that Randy represents, it actually comes over here right now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
It
I
actually
agree
comes
with
across
what
here
you're
like
saying.
this.
Yeah.
That needs to be fixed. I agree with that.
Had to get with Eddie on that.
So, well, that's okay. Are we still in public hearing or what?
Well, yeah, yep,
Still in public hearing?
yep. Public hearing, let public talk.
Scott Lobel, 18052 Louisiana Highway 444. Some quick thoughts that I had, regardless of if it gets adopted tonight the way that it is or whatever, my thoughts are that whatever the final map is going to work itself closer to being for the zoning in our area should be consistent and representative to the initial zoning map, should be consistent to all the existing parcels around there. And not necessarily to speak of any of the individual properties. I do own property in that 1.5 density. My father's here. He owns property inside of that as well too. So, but to not talk about anybody individually, if you look at that whole corridor, all of those properties, most of them are an acre or more. So that's what I would like to express, is that at least for that corridor, it should be representative of what exists today, at least the initial zoning map. And then if whatever happens, then let them go through whatever the written process is going to be. So that's what we ask. So regardless of if it gets adopted like this at night,
We're just gonna have to.
tonight,
The maps wrong.
our hope is that the initial one is that way.
Yep.
All right, Randy. Okay, wait. Any more public comments? All right, we're now closing the public hearing. All right,
Randy, you want to defer it, fix the stuff that they issue it and then redo it?
Well, I was wondering if we could go ahead and adopt it tonight. I got some prior obligations where I'm gonna be too late, probably. I would like to see us adopt it contingency on fixing it from 1.5 to 1 point. That's what, don't even do the unclassified. That's all what they are now, 1 acres, he said, so 1.5 to 1 on the guideline. I don't have it in front of
Change
me.
your mind.
Who's got the map? Someone.
You want this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it around. Green says 1.5, and they want it, that's where they live, they want to make it 1, not 1.5, they want to make it 1. They gotta come back 2 weeks from now and say, look, we gotta change it, whatever y'all tell me. That's what
This
we're
right
doing.
here? This whole, this
This
army
right
green
here.
stuff here?
Yeah, you see right here?
Yeah.
That's 1.5, they want it to be white, 1. All 1 instead of all 1.5.
Already developed, right?
Some of it is, some, they own it, that's them.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm with you, Randy. I'm with you.
That's all right.
Where's Springfield High School?
Yeah, where's the high school at? Oh, it ain't on there. It's further that way.
Down this side.
So,
This ain't the one that you take.
yeah, it is.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Scooter?
Yeah, about 6 weeks, man, might have been 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was looking at my maps. That's why I started to introduce them, and then I said, no, wait, this isn't right. We have probably 50, 60, 70 developments, commercial, residential, whatever, approved, that need to be put that way on these maps before we do it. There's 5 in Mr. Bubba's district, just on Forest Club Road, that is listed as agriculture. That will be fixed before those maps come out. When I called Eddie about it, I said, Eddie, why are y'all drawing stuff on these maps when you know there's developments approved that would have to be, it'd have to be changed to that because that's what it is. And he said, oh, we're already on that. We're working on it now. They're going to go back 2 years, and every single project that's been approved by the parish council in 2 years, that's how those maps will be drawn. Like if it's let's say 2,000 lot subdivision and it's on agriculture, it can't be agriculture because it's already approved. And so
I
they're
agree
gonna
with that.
fix those issues before we ever vote on mine, for sure.
Well, I agree with that, but I personally would go ahead and protect every piece of land that I can protect
You
in
can.
my district right now.
Right, and you should.
What I'm gonna do
Yeah.
right now, I wanna make a motion that we accept the map with the amendment of amending the rural zone R 1.5 and change that to R 1 even.
Randy, is that the only R 1.5 in your whole
That's the only
district?
R 1.5 I see on the whole map.
I'll second Randy's motion.
The whole map, R 1.5.
To amend.
Gotta do a motion to amend first, right?
Yep, motion to amend first.
That's what you did, and you got a second.
You got a
I'll
second? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Randy, adopt as amended.
Yes, I would make a motion now to adopt it as amendment. Thank
I'll
you, Mr.
second that.
Chairman.
Seconded by Mr. Talbot. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Item 14 is another public hearing, so we're now entering a public hearing. This is adoption of LP ordinance number 22-52, amend section 125-1, definitions, remove the verbiage and parish council from subdivision definition.
Yes. This is basically some language, some cleanup language where we had some, it was stuff, we just condensed it down in the 125-1. Oh, Sandy, go ahead. My bad.
Read by title.
Proposed ordinance 22-52, an ordinance to amend chapter 125 subdivision regulations, article 1 in general, by amending section 125-1 definitions that defines the term subdivision, part 4 of the Code of Ordinances of Livingston Parish.
All right. So, public hearing, is there anyone here in public that wants to speak on this? All right, we're now closing the public hearing. All right, Mr. Garlinghouse, you have anything?
Yeah, this is just some maintenance. If you look down in section 4 in your notes, we removed "and parish council" from to planning commission, parish planning commission. We just removed "and parish council" for all requirements set forth. And
We changed the section number's wrong.
Yeah, and it's basically, we moved the section number because when we make those changes, it's just cleanup, it's maintenance. So I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Girlinghouse, second by Mr. Talbot. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, item 15, introduction of ordinance, amend section 126-3, commercial development notifications by changing the wording subdivision to commercial development, and correction of numbering from 125-26 to 125-106 for section 125-1. Definitions, subdivisions. Recommendations from the Planning and Zoning Department.
Yeah, it's the same. We're cleaning it up.
Cleaning some verbiage up.
And changing some
Do you have
section
anything on
numbers.
this that you need to read, or?
Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
This will be proposed ordinance 22-53. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 125 subdivision regulations, Article 1 in general, by amending Section 125-1 definitions, Part 1 that defines the term subdivision, referencing utilities, and whereby also amending Chapter 126 commercial development, Section 126-3 commercial development notifications by removing the term subdivision and replacing it with commercial development of the Code of Ordinances of Livingston Parish. The public hearing is going to be determined when y'all change the November date in a little while.
We need it's just introduction.
Yeah.
We don't need to do anything. So
You gotta announce the public hearing. Go ahead and give her the date.
we're gonna come back and give the date. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna skip down to where we need to
Okay.
fix the date on the meeting. So that is, let me find it.
23.
23. Reschedule the November 3rd, 2022 regular meeting of the council as it conflicts with planning and zoning. So I think we had originally changed
November 2nd.
to the 2nd is what we changed it to. Does that sound right?
So it
No, it was the 10th and we changed it to the 3rd.
Yeah, now we need to move it to the
And we
second.
need to move it to the 2nd. Is everybody good with that, or because, wait, there was something that we looked at, if we did, we'd also do the 17th if we did that,
But you need at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks in between. So what I was looking at on the calendar, if we left it on the 10th and just did away with the 24th meeting, we can leave the 2 Decembers moved up the way they were. It gives us them 2 weeks in between every meeting. And if somebody comes up with something time sensitive, we'll just have a special meeting for it.
Good with what you said?
I mean, we've canceled a meeting
We're gonna
before.
go back to the 10th.
Yep, we'll move it back to the 10th. We won't have one on the 17th, so we'll just cancel the 24th.
I already planned a hunt trip
Okay.
Well,
a year ago.
I'm good with that.
yeah. You know, so then the December meetings will be the 1st and the 15th.
Here for them.
You know, the way that y'all actually moved that. So we'll leave December the way y'all moved it. We'll just move this one back to the 10th.
To 10th.
We won't have a second meeting in
I'm good with
November.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, y'all all good with that?
I'll call in and,
Are you changing December too?
December
take
was
your
changed
iPad.
to the 1st and the 15th, right? No,
No.
8th and the 22nd.
First.
21st, y'all went to the 21st on that one?
Gary asked
8th
to
and the
do it
21st. So
on
we're gonna leave
Wednesday.
December the way y'all changed it, the 8th and the 21st, right?
where were you?
On vacation,
November, we moved to.
He was actually here and then left.
yeah.
He left after.
So that,
got
the only
mad and
thing
ran
we
off.
need to do is just move the
Remember we
3rd back
did.
to the 10th. Y'all good with that? We'll move the 3rd back to the
You
10th?
make a motion or we just do it?
I make a motion to move the meeting from the reschedule the meeting that was moved to the 3rd back to the 10th and cancel the meeting that was supposed to happen on the 24th.
All right,
3rd, 10th of
November.
November. I got you. Yeah, second.
All right, motion by Mr. Talbot, second by Mr. Garlinghouse, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, now we can go back to give a date on 15.
Okay, for the proposed ordinance 22-53, the public hearing will be on November the 10th at 6 PM.
All right.
Good deal.
16 is another introduction of an ordinance. This is adoption of ordinance District Number 1 zoning maps. Ms. Sandy, you want to read that?
Did you want to do it upon adoption, or did you want to do it with the effective date? If it's adopted, it'll be immediately.
Upon adoption,
But it's still gotta be signed.
yeah. Because I'm gonna have one more, I'm fixing to say I'm gonna have a meeting after we, do the introduction.
This will be proposed ordinance 22-54, an ordinance to certify the official zoning map of the unincorporated areas of Council District 1 in the parish of Livingston, entitled Livingston Parish Zoning Map, Council District Number 1, referred to in Chapter 117 of the Livingston Parish Code of Ordinances. The public hearing will be on November 10th at 6 p.m.
So I'm going to have another public meeting on the 8th here for my zoning. So if anybody wants to come in to talk about my zoning before we actually adopt it, I'll have another meeting on the 8th. And if we could, any avenue we have to get that out to the public, I'd like to see if y'all put that out for me. Put it on our website and anything we can. All right. 17, complaint from the homeowners associations and residents of Riverscape at Clio subdivision who request for options concerning water and sewer rates. Mr. Delat.
Yes, I think we have some people.
Yes, I have Ms. Kelly Hutchison and Eric. Y'all both want to speak or just, okay.
Hello, my name is Kelly Hutchinson in Springfield, Louisiana. I'm here to discuss the ongoing problems and rate increases with our water and sewer that have been forced upon our neighborhood. We are in the Riverscape subdivision and are on the Magnolia water and sewer system. We pay over $100 a month for water and sewer service. In reviewing all the water rates and the sewer rates for all the systems regulated by the Public Service Commission, in the entire state of Louisiana, we are the third highest for water and sewer and are within $5 of being number one. This is outrageous and unacceptable. Magnolia is a Missouri company who took over our system from MoDad in March of 2020. We were paying about $50 a month at the time. In December of 2020, Magnolia filed with the Service Commission to raise our rates. They posted a public notice for one single day and snuck it into the paper on New Year's Eve, when most people were spending time with their friends and family, not reading the public notices. In addition, the public notice was unclear about how it would affect the bill for our neighborhood. The notice requested a 3-tiered structure of billing rates. However, our bills and customer accounts were never labeled us as any type of a tier, so we had no way of knowing which rate or tier would be applied to us. We were given no reasonable notice that this would happen until the end of last year when our bills started increasing. After 3 years, Magnolia can demonstrate to the Public Service Commission that they didn't make the right amount of profit and can ask for another increase. They have little incentive to make long-term investments in the systems that need repair when they can simply spend any overages and ask for more rate increases. The decision by the Public Service Commission should be appealed. Not only have these high rates been forced onto us without notice, we are receiving poor service in return. Our water is often discolored and smells strongly of chlorine. Several times this year, just twice last month, the Magnolia equipment has failed and led to boil water advisories. Many people do not get the notifications enough and end up drinking the contaminated water. There are no door hangers, no phone calls, no texts, only one single email notification. This is the service we get for over $100 a month. We need another choice. Here are a few options I propose. For sewer, I looked into installing individual septic type systems, but we are not currently permitted by Louisiana law to be off of a sewer system if there's one present in your area. I'm asking the council to look into if this is something that can be regulated in a different way at a parish level that would permit septic type systems. This would give us another choice for our sewer rates. For water, it is possible to switch to a water meter with Magnolia. However, as a customer, we would have to pay over $600 for the installation of a meter and would not see any savings until after the 3rd year. That would drop our bill by about $15 a month, unknowing if the rates would change, eliminating any savings after that time. It's not a great solution for us. An overall solution would be that we can appeal the decision by the Public Service Commission to the 19th District Court to reduce our rates to a more reasonable rate for us, as we were not notified in a fair or clear way about the rate increase. Another overall solution I propose would be to become a part of a neighboring system. I'm asking the council to look into our neighboring water and sewer systems and see if we can link with one of them to provide a better and stronger service. Magnolia is a Missouri company. Our neighborhood is currently paying them over $65,000 a year and has the potential to more than double that once our lots are built out. Let's find a way to bring our dollars back to the local economy, maybe the town of Killian's water system, who recently received a grant, or the French Settlement Water Company, or the Diversion Water Company, or other local systems. I am eager to hear any additional solutions that the board may have that would provide us a better choice than what we have now. Thank you for your time.
Mr. She was being too kind about the
You
water.
need to talk to?
Oh,
Hold on.
you want to talk?
Yep, he was up to too.
My name is Eric Labattu, Springfield, Louisiana, husband. There's a lack of answers coming from Magnolia Water Company. We've emailed them and called them requesting information, and you get back nothing. Just the most BS responses, just waving you away. And there's no answers on where's the money being spent, what repairs are being done. There's just no accountability for these guys, and they've got, they're making premium dollars off the water bill. There's no accountability. I've been doing construction for 20 plus years in residential, industrial settings. I've got a degree in construction management from LSU. I've seen water companies and stuff before, and these guys are doing tests right outside my front door. They're there 3 or 4 times a week testing the water, but what they're really doing is doing nothing but patchwork to a system that they could be spending money on to fix. They're repairing pumps and flushing systems and adding chlorine. Some days there's chlorine, some days there's not. You can smell sulfur some days. And then they're just going back and forth and doing this and spending it's all third party for their operation and maintenance. They're not even doing the work. So that third party is just making it more expensive. They're getting their hours in, charging it up. And so now, it's more expensive for them to actually fix a real issue than the patchwork. They're showing, it makes them able to show the Public Service Commission, look, this is all the money we're spending. We need more money. Let's jack up the rates some more. And that's what I'm watching it out my front door. Yeah, they're testing. Why should you have to test every day? Because your system's screwed up. So everything that Kelly said up here, I second those. We've looked into water solutions for wells, cisterns, house filtration systems. All of these are high dollar things that they don't make sense. So we need other options, and the other options, then they'll elicit competition. That competition will lower prices. It's basic capitalism. And right now we've got a monopoly. So thank y'all for your time. Appreciate it.
Right. Thank you. Randy?
Yeah. Thank you, guys. The water system over there is pretty bad, but some of the problems is causing infrastructure problems to our roads. They're washing and draining, and they got equipment, they're tearing it up, everything. What I would like to see, if we could pass a resolution, send it to the Public Service Commission. I gave them the rate increase, and I know there's a criteria before they can get a rate increase. There's certain things they have to do, but we don't know what that criteria is, or even if they're abiding by it. But I'd like to start off with the information they already provided, maybe get Brad involved with Sandy, and get a letter to them as quickly as possible to let them know all this extra money and us being the number 1 rated being charged in the state here is not fixing the problem. And maybe there are some things that the Public Service Commissions can mandate that those people do. I'm not saying take their license away or anything else, but when they authorized them to spend X amount of dollars, that meant that they're supposed to provide a clean drinking water on a daily basis that's affordable, you know, not the top, that, I called it a little subdivision, but they probably got 70 homes in there, you know, it just needs help, and I'm gonna make a motion and asking y'all to support that we get Brad and Sandy working on it based on the information they got to the Public Service Commission.
We got a motion from Mr. Delatt, a second from Mr. Gerlinghouse. Is there any more comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. 18, seeking options for animal control for unincorporated areas, Livingston Parish. A, numerous cats abandoned without food and water. B, complaints from homeowners regarding stray cats on their property. Mr. Randy.
Okay, I know it's getting late. I'm gonna tie up a bunch of time here. Basically, someone got arrested, and he had 30-some cats. Well, when the sheriff put him in jail, he left those cats for the neighbors to tend to that they didn't want to tend to, you know? And so they made a couple calls to the animal control, and they made a couple calls to the sheriff, where it seems like there's not a leash law or something that to do with cats. So there's nothing they could do with it. So cats are squalling, starving, reproducing. So I'm just throwing this out here right now. It's just a discussion. I told people I'll see what I could do. Maybe when we get the budget, we can see if there's some kind of way that we can add cats into the animal control. Because I don't think they cause as much as a dog bite or maybe rabies, but they still are a nuisance out there.
You know, we got ordinance. We got ordinance for animal control in very good, well-written ordinance. Got a little caveat at the bottom, says when it's funded in the budget is when the ordinance becomes in place, is when the ordinance it can be enforced. So basically, all we gotta do is amend the ordinance. Take out that it's gotta be funded. It's not our job to generate funding. I mean, I'm just telling you, if you want to push animal control, you amend the ordinance, take out the part that says it's not enforceable until it's funded. And then it falls upon the administration to fund it. I mean, if you're really serious about animal control, it's pretty easy to do.
Well, thank you for the information, and I'll work in that direction.
Just add a line item on the next budget that says animal control and put money in that. I mean, that makes it funded, doesn't it?
So we already budget them already so much, right?
Yeah, we don't, it's not funded to operate as a true animal control. I mean, there are certain things that we do not provide under what we have now that doesn't make us a true animal control where we can go out and pick up dogs and cats that, you know, and all the other things. To do that, I forget how much money it is, but ultimately, if we want to make, before this budget's passed, we do need to amend the ordinance. And at that point in time, it'll become the problem of the administration to fund animal control. I don't mean to be, but I mean, if that's how you really want to do it, that's how you do it.
I think that's a great idea, Gary. If it wouldn't be for the sheriff's office, I don't know what we'd be doing right now. But that's something, that's a government, that's our job, and that's the job we used to do. You know, we used to fund that. That's something we need to get back to doing. It's kind of like if you're in a parish and you want to be civilized, you say you got to have libraries, you got to have rules, you got to have good roads, you got to have animal controls. You know, you just drinking water. You know, there you go. So all right.
So we're going to look at, we'll just kind of explore that.
I'll put that on the agenda to, if being as an ordinance already, do you have to have an ordinance form to amend it? I don't know how that works.
We can just review it in the ordinance committee and then have them come up with suggestions on how to reword it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right, 19, adopt a resolution to authorize a waiver of section 125-37, requirements of minor subdivisions to allow a was this the one that was?
Yeah.
Okay, so that one's been pulled. Good, I don't have to read all that.
Still working on that?
Item 20, adopt a resolution to change the speed limit on Old Frost Road from 15 to 30.
That's what I'm talking about.
Must be my day. Okay, so I get a call this past week and it said, who authorized the 15-mile-an-hour speed limits in place of the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit? So I said, I don't know, let me check. So I called Public Works and I talked to a lady down there, and she told me they can't find any speed limit ordinance for that particular road. But she said in years past, if a road didn't have any speed limit on it, and it was in a subdivision, it became 20 miles an hour. If it was in a rural area, it became 15 miles an hour. The people that live on that road would like to see it 30 miles an hour.
That's an ordinance that exists within our parish, at 20 in a subdivision, 15 on a rural road, so that, yeah.
You make that a motion, I'll second it.
I'll make that as a motion.
Motion from Mr. Lat, second from Mr. Watson.
We set speed limits by resolution, Sandy?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Comments from the council on this?
Yes, I mean, I've already spoken with Mr. Delight about this. I've had people ask me in the past to increase speed limits. It's something I just don't feel comfortable doing. Essentially because if you have a 15-mile speed limit and someone gets hit sitting on the side of the road or a kid runs out, I can't vote to increase the speed limit, especially double. Now, I was going to look, I'd spoken with Mr. Gillette about this, and the way he explained it, I might actually have been okay with it, but I didn't have a chance to go look at it. I've been dealing with other stuff. Having said that, I don't think this is going to be a problem. I'm just saying, here's the way I vote. This is why.
So did you say it was 40?
Yeah, it's been 40 for years, but they were they were trying to get to the bottom of it, or what it's supposed to be. Cause, you got complained, and it didn't have any speed limit on it. So y'all had passed ordinance, like Gary said earlier, 20 for the rural areas and 25, if there's no posted one, and 25 for the subdivision.
That's the default. That's the default speed limit, 15 mile an hour on a rural road.
Right.
Which I always thought was ironic, because it's actually lower than the default speed limit in a subdivision.
And it's a 4-mile straight road, not a curve or hill or nothing.
And then
Basically, it's 63, it turns into that
Yeah,
road.
it turns into burden, but y'all gotta realize, guys, it's not houses on top of houses back here. You may have a house and 12 acres down the road, you have another house, right?
Right,
So,
and they're not close to the road. They all
set off the road, so.
There's very good possibility I could vote yes on this if I
I'm
see it mild to
gonna
mild.
I mean,
take-
if it was 40 and got changed to 15, I mean, I can see why the people were saying, at least give us 30 back. So, I mean,
Just make it 40.
Call the vote. We got a
All
motion and
right,
a
so we
second.
got a motion and a second. Ms. Sandy, call for the vote.
Mr. Wascom,
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse,
No.
Mr. Ard,
Yes.
Mr. McMorris,
Yes.
Mr. Delat,
Yes.
Mr. Mack,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot.
Yes.
All right, item 21, adopt a resolution to name an unnamed road, Day Lane, located off of Louisiana Highway 447 near Cullen Road in Council District 5. That's being pulled too? All right, so 21's been pulled. All right, 22, adopt a resolution to add roads for consideration to the capital outlay. I have, is that Gentili?
It's
It's
Jim Tilly.
Jim.
Like James, short for James Tilly.
We spelled it wrong?
They did.
Okay.
Jim.
Jim Tilly?
Yeah,
Did
Jim
you do
Tilly.
that?
Jim Tilly went to,
Jim Tilly Road. I have in Tracy's, Joe Stafford Street in Tracy's district, and Milton Road, south of the interstate in Tracy's district. So is there anybody else that needs to add anything while we on it? All right, so you making that motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Girlinghouse, second by Mr. Mack. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
the addendum.
Yeah, addendum. let's see, addendum, this is a waiver request for section 125-37-4, number of lots on a servitude for Sal Palermo, located on Ben Fugler Road in Council District 2. Mr. Talbot.
This is a preliminary map. This is not the official map. Mr. Palermo, before he secured the property, wanted to be sure that he could get this done. So it's, that we're doing this, and it will get done, you know, it'll be drawn and then go later. He wants to buy 3.7 acres and cut a 2.2 acre tract out for himself and a 1.5 acre tract out for his son, little Sal, who is actually taller than his dad, but we just call him little Sal. This will exceed the number of lots on a servitude, on a minor resub. I'm asking for a waiver to allow him to cut those lots in half. I make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Talbot. Who's seconded by Mr. McMorris? Any comments from the public? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Committee reports. Finance.
Yeah, he wasn't here today. Oh, yeah, Miss Jennifer came before us today and brought the latest draft for the budget, and it's not quite ready. It's got everything except the health insurance numbers, and she's still got a few little things coming in. She said she will be ready for the 10th.
The 10th.
The 10th, and I'm not gonna be here. Jeff's gonna handle it. That's when she will bring the proposed budget to you guys.
So when do we have to adopt it from the 10th? After
The first meeting in December, right?
Yep.
We gotta introduce it on the 10th, because we're not meeting on the 17th, we'll adopt it on the
First week in November.
Yeah, so if
First
y'all
meeting,
have
the
any
8th.
questions, if you got any questions about any budget stuff, just call Miss Jennifer and she'll answer it, whatever it is.
Who's gonna we're gonna get a copy of
Yeah,
it?
yeah, she'll have a copy.
Does he know?
She'll probably get it to y'all.
If we call that number,
She sends it to Miss Sandy, and she usually prints them out, right?
Okay.
And then, yeah. What, you got something?
Oh, go ahead, keep talking.
And-
All right,
And
so
then you want to talk about the other, you want me to talk about the?
go ahead, you talk.
On our iPads, one of the agenda items was that we needed to make them to where they worked on cellular. So Miss Jennifer's going to get in contact with Nortec, and she has no problem with it putting a monthly, getting a phone number for each iPad so that it'll work anywhere you're at, and it'll work in here even when the Wi-Fi is not working right. So
And the issue is, we don't own these iPads.
we don't own them, Nortec does.
So they gotta find out if we can put a plan on a
So they gotta
pad that
get
we
the
don't
bill and
own.
then send it
Yeah.
to her. She says no problem paying the bill if they send it to her. So,
It was also discussed, if you don't mind, Scooter, next year we'll be receiving $15 million instead of $13 million, and the other $2 million is going to go to District 8, to make sure District 6 halfway, to get all our roads completed.
We already used it up in 2 and 3 though, sorry.
But anyway, just want to let everybody know, we're going from 13 million to 15 million.
is correct.
Minimum.
So,
She may,
minimum,
and
that's
there'll
right.
probably be more than that, guys, so we're gonna get some more road work done. Gonna be a good
All right.
year.
Ordinance Committee.
There's nothing new to introduce tonight, but we haven't met. We'll be meeting Wednesday? Is that right? Yes.
Yep.
Wednesday at 5.
District Attorney report?
Nothing further to report tonight.
Report? All right, well, before I get the one everybody likes to say, I missed something on Councilman's report. Comment. Walker beat Live Oak in football.
Oh, yeah.
So when they play Denham, that'll be the parish championship. Unless Denham beats us and makes it a three-way tie.
Everybody done beat Live Oak, son, so don't worry about it. There ain't gonna be no three-way tie. Denham done beat Live Oak, Walker done
When
beat
you
Live
brought
Oak.
up Palermo, you reminded me, so.
Oh, I hear you. Those days are just, they a little bit shy right now.
We're just hoping
But
for a
we
football
got
team
we
one
got
day.
we got some
That should be
new
a good
boosters
game.
coming to
That should be a
hire
good
some
game.
better players, so, I mean, I
I'm gonna say, we got a good coach.
Motion
Thanks for the
to
coach.
adjourn. Give me a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Keane. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.